We got to the point where we were thinking, if we do that, we will never ever finish the Mini. This was in regards to Project Binky, which, in my opinion, will haunt you forever due to its impossibility of being precisely where you desire it to be. But anyway, you're never going to finish the Mini. Unfortunately, Project Binky will not be renewed for a second season. Aspiring to transform a vintage Mini into a turbocharged all-wheel drive monster, Bad Obsession Motorsport's Project Binky has captivated auto enthusiasts worldwide. When Nick Blackhurst and Richard Brunning initially started their YouTube channel in 2013, they won over viewers with their inventive engineering and entertaining videos, but after 39 episodes, updates stopped coming, so fans are still wondering what happened. Is it possible that Project Binky didn't succeed? Is the possibility of canceling it there? Let's get down to brass tacks regarding what really happened with the masterpiece that captivated fans for over a decade. In order to discuss what happened with Initiative Binky, we must first understand how it came to be. Using a Toyota Celica engine and four-wheel drive, we wanted to turn a dilapidated Mini Cooper into a monstrosity. The original idea was to transform the Mini Cooper into a monstrosity capable of breathing fire. Though it may seem strange to the average person, gearheads like Nick Blackhurst and Richard Brunning of the United Kingdom were able to pull it off. It may seem like a simple task, but giving the Mini Cooper a powerful engine was actually a huge undertaking that took place over the course of several years and led to the car's eventual global success. We need to talk about the people involved, the cars, and the event that started it all, so you can fully grasp the scope of the project. Project Binky was conceptualized by two friends, Nick and Richard, who run a small car dealership in Shropshire, England, called Bad Obsession Motorsport. They are also the ones responsible for coming up with the idea. In case you haven't heard, these two aren't just some random guys with a wrench. They've got some seriously impressive tricks up their sleeve. Both Nick and Richard have a wealth of experience working on various types of vehicles, including rally cars and racing cars. Richard was racing Formula Mazdas in America, as Nick was racing karts. Richard went back to the UK after becoming very knowledgeable in the racing industry. In 1992, they co-founded Bad Obsession Motorsport, whose main focus was on rally car preparation and insane car builds. Thanks to Bad Obsession Motorsport's smashing success, the two people started talking about Project Binky, which was a stroke of luck. Consider for a second that Nick and Richard were sick of seeing the same old car displays that never showed the real work that goes into making a car. They were looking for something fresh, authentic, and entertaining all at the same time. The team decided to build the fastest Mini ever and broadcast the entire process to the world as a result. The question that needs answering is, why not a Mini Cooper instead of a regular race car? Although Minis' tiny engines could only muster about 50 horsepower, they gained fame in bygone days for their rallying prowess. But Nick and Richard are looking for something with significantly more power, and that's where the Toyota Celica GT4 comes in. Among racing's forefathers, the consensus is that the Toyota Celica rules the rally. The vehicle has an all-wheel drive system and a turbocharged 2-liter engine that generates approximately 200 horsepower, despite being manufactured in the early 1990s. Another way of putting it is that they went with the GT4 because it is a monster, much bigger than a Mini. They find joy in conquering challenges. Nick volunteered to part with his rusty Mini, which had been collecting dust for years, in order to kick things off. The GT4 was also not an arbitrary. The idea of resurrecting the car's essence in a Mini appeared to hold some personal significance for Nick, who had owned the vehicle for a long time and had a strong attachment to it. This particular vehicle is a 1980 Honda Mini and is a Toyota Celica ST185 GT4. With its four-wheel drive and 2-liter turbocharged engine, it can generate 200 horsepower. Actually, I'm trying to squeeze the entire Celica GT4 engine, transmission, and running gear into my pitiful Mini. They were also well suited to their mission by the GT4's rally history. Together, they set out to create Project Binky, a rally monster with the look of a Mini, but the legal ability to drive on public roads. Bad Obsession Motorsport's shed was the birthplace of the project. They were down to a few tools, their skills, and an unwavering attitude, rather than a big budget or a fancy workshop. They measured both cars to the millimeter before they ever turned a wrench. Compared to the GT4, whose engine and powertrain were designed for a much larger car, the Mini stood out due to its significantly shorter length of less than 10 feet. To make room for everything that needed to fit inside, the Mini underwent extensive modifications, such as bespoke manufacturing and a new structural redesign. Continuing forward in time, the initial video for Project Binky was uploaded to YouTube on August 17, 2013. There they recorded the complete disassembly of the Mini, down to the chassis. Unlike most car displays, the two people involved didn't try to hide anything during the process. While flaunting the vehicle's rust, they made fun of how challenging the construction would be. The authenticity of the first episode of Project Binky, which featured two individuals working on a lofty project, was well received by viewers. Viewers clearly enjoyed the show's authenticity, as it garnered 1.9 million views. Since its initial upload on YouTube, the duo has covered some ground and released 39 episodes. However, since the last broadcast on October 26, 2024, updates have ceased, leaving viewers bewildered about what happened. Project Binky seemed like it would be over quickly to Nick and Richard at first. The two people had originally planned for a 6-month period, but the schedule quickly surpassed their expectations. Put another way, what really happened when no one was looking? What caused the update to terminate? Will we be abandoning this project? There may have been a number of reasons for the delayed update, even though no specifics have been disclosed thus far. An essential component is the fact that Project Binky was not Nick and Richard's full-time job. Bad Obsession Motorsport was the duo's main job back in the day, but very few fans know that. They only have time for Project Binky in their spare time, since they make a living building custom cars. They also have responsibilities outside of work. As an example, consider Richard. He's married and a parent. During a podcast, he admitted that being a husband and father meant he couldn't simply hide out in the shed every night. Spending time with his family, whether it's over dinner or helping out with his kids, is important to him. Because he had kids at home, Richard likely had to figure out how to balance getting them ready for bed and getting them to and from school. Consequently, he was limited to working on the project during weekends or late evenings. The errand running that likely slowed down Project Binky was done by Nick and Richard's side of the family. The fact that neither of them is in a rush also likely played a role in the project's postponement. Nick and Richard definitely don't see themselves as famous TV stars. They just want to build their crazy ideas and then go on to the next big thing. That's all. They are taking their time and recording as they go to make sure every detail is just right, which is in contrast to the rushed pace of television productions. The slow pace became an attractive aspect of the situation in the long run. Many viewers said it was slow TV. Furthermore, it was revealed by a Reddit user that Richard ran for the Social Democratic Party in the UK's most recent general election. Although Richard may not have come out on top, it's safe to assume that he spent a lot of time on the campaign and preparation interviews. Project Binky is taking much too long to complete, and this is probably one of the main reasons why. There was thus no termination of Project Binky. Since there has been an extremely long gap between episodes, viewers are understandably worried about its future. Episode 37 was released to the public on December 18, 2021, and episode 38 was released more than 25 months later, on April 29, 2023. The public was able to access episode 39 after a 2-year delay. They began to circulate rumors that the event would be cancelled due to these delays. Some Redditors have speculated that the long delay might be intentional, perhaps to keep the Patreon contributors' contributions going strong. However, this claim is unsupported by any substantial evidence. In a podcast setting, Richard allayed the fear and assured listeners that they were working hard to finish the project and bring about peace. He continued by saying that they are committed to completing Project Binky in full, despite the fact that they have only done a small amount of work so far. No official release date has been announced, but rest assured that additional episodes are currently in production. Given that Bad Obsession Motorsport's focus has always been on precision rather than speed, it stands to reason that the building process as a whole takes some time. Therefore, fans must be patient as the team maintains its meticulous approach to ensure the Mini is ready to go on the road, thanks to their meticulous planning. While many fans have found the wait to be unbearable, Project Binky stands out from the crowd thanks to its dedication to quality. The team has assured all of the fans that they are winning the race and that they are making more and more progress with each episode. At the end of the day, the Mini will be more than just another customized car. It will be an absolute technological marvel.